I want to say that unlike the other worst lists that I made, none of the episodes on this list are actually bad. In the other list, there was at least one episode that I thought was flat out bad. Not with Futurama, and I think that goes to show just how fantastic the writing was on this show since its birth. When watching through Futurama, there were episodes I liked that I just didn't want to watch nearly as much as most episodes. There are about 15 of those episodes. However, this is a top 3 list because I'm a bit more iffy towards these 3 than the other bunch.
The bees are swarming with parasites. They're all dying.
Yeah, but what a way to go. Die young, leave a pretty corpse, that's what I say.
You should say something else.
This episode I honestly probably should have liked more than I actually do. The 3-story style episodes are just things Matt Groening shows seem to often nail. This is unfortunately one of the only exceptions. The episode consists of 3 different holiday related stories, including Robonica. This isn't bad by any means, more so just disappointing. I think it mostly comes down to me not finding it funny. It is pretty creative with its concept though, so it isn't even close to possible for me to dislike this.
My girls!
My antenna!
My kajigger!
My gonopores! Look it up.
This episode isn't on here because it isn't funny. It is funny. It's on here because it has one of my biggest peeves that any show can have, and that's bad characterization. All of the characters are sexist. Farnsworth and Bender both make sense to be sexist. Hermes possibly as well, since we don't know much about him. Everyone else? It doesn't make that much sense. I really feel like they should have limited the sexism to possibly those 3 male characters, and maybe make La Barbara sexist since we don't know much about her. I have very mixed feelings on this one. Luckily it's more 70% positive and 30% negative, so I still think it's good. I don't mind when most shows do an episode on something like gay marriage, and to be fair to Futurama, it didn't straight up do gay marriage for an episode, but it pretty much did. I think it succeeded with what it was trying to do, honestly. The idea of the episode doesn't scream Futurama to me though, and even when rewatching it, I find it a weird one to look back on. The only real issue I have with this episode is that it's another Bender episode. It doesn't do too much to stand out either. It does have the giant octopi and Bender's return from death song, both great moments that help the episode stand out a little bit.
Several hundred people died too, including my wife.
My yes!
This is the most boring episode of Futurama. It may have plenty of Bender, but a lot of the later seasons have plenty of Bender, and this really doesn't do anything with his character that we haven't seen before. Let's talk about the good stuff. I like that they brought back the pervert that sold Fry's penis earlier in the series.
I could never betray a customer's privacy. All I can give you is this naked picture of him taken from my toilet cam.
I'm looking for human horn.
Shh! You're not cops, right?
There are obviously some pretty funny Bender lines throughout, and the animation is always fantastic. The best part is the setup to the episode. You know, the first act? That. Leela tries to stop gun violence between gangs and winds up making everything worse. That's really funny, and I kind of recommend this episode for that alone. Now for the negatives. I don't have a lot to say. That's simply it. The fact that I don't have much to say about a Futurama episode is weird for me. It's the only episode from Futurama I can't remember too well. Other than the pervert returning, I don't really remember funny stuff from this a week after watching it. Even the guest alien, while well designed, doesn't do much to stand out. And considering he's prominently featured, I think that's where the episode fails the most. That's honestly really all I have to say about this one. But it isn't bad, I simply find it forgettable but then enjoy it when I rewatch it. Me forgetting about what happens in this episode simply means I don't get excited to rewatch it. That's all, comment your comments and stuff, and bye I guess.